Hi, my name is Shy Case, and today I'm going to be talking about the effects of exercise on depression. I'm sick of people struggling when they're depressed. They don't think they can do anything, or maybe it's just too hard to reach out and get some help. Maybe you're making poor nutrition choices, poor sleep choices, maybe you're acting improperly. And one of the great things that I found when I was actively depressed from my grandfather's death was exercise, because you don't have to ask anybody for that. That is completely free, and you don't have to talk to anyone about exercising. You can just go out and do it. Exercise can do a great amount of things for anyone. You don't have to be depressed, but it can help fight depression effectively. And there are three ways that helps. The first thing depression can or exercise can do when fighting depression is it helps release feel good endorphins. Those are brain chemicals that help you feel better. The second thing is when you look good, you feel good. When you have that confidence in your body, you start feeling like a completely different person, and sometimes you need that change to feel better. The last thing is when you start exercising, that's a big step. You start making choices to maybe skip laying on the couch and go for a walk instead. And with those choices are followed by better choices, maybe healthier choices. Maybe you grab a potato and you don't cook it in any oil. You just air fry it and bam, you're feeling better already. Better choices. But let's get into the first topic, right? So I was wondering what endorphins meant. Like, what is that chemical process when they're being released? And I looked at an article from the Mayo Clinic, and they said releasing feel-good endorphins. Endorphins are natural brain chemicals that can improve your sense of well-being. Why? Why do they improve your sense of well-being? What are these chemicals? And so I looked at a healthy living or a South Bend Healthy Living article by Daniel Casiato, and he said that endorphins are chemical transmitters that help your brain regulate pain and emotions. And I looked more into that. And when you start exercising, the endorphins, they start lighting up your brain. And when your brain is lighting up from dopamine hits and stuff like that, you start to feel more alive. You have better oxygen, better energy flow. You can get up off the couch and you feel really good about yourself, and it sets you up for success. Maybe the dopamine hit that you needed helped you go out. Maybe you got that assignment done because you felt like you could do it. And you know why? Because you had that endorphin boost. The second thing that exercise can help with is it helps you stay fit. When you're depressed, one of the biggest things that are a problem is how you look and how you feel. When you look good, you start to feel good. And how do you start looking good? You start exercising. Maybe you go for a walk. Maybe you go and walk your dog. It doesn't have to be for very long. Maybe it's 20 minutes. That 20 minutes a day can turn into 30 minutes, and then you're walking them for an hour every day. And with that, maybe you start going to the gym. That will help you get a better physique. Maybe you're overweight, and that's a big factor to your depression because you feel like you can't do anything because you don't fit societal beauty standards. When you start working out, maybe you'll not fit societal beauty standards. Maybe you don't care about that, but maybe you'll start feeling better in here because you accomplished this big thing. I've always struggled with self image, and even though I've never lost a ton of weight, I've started seeing little improvements. Maybe I've gotten stronger. I was able to do some pull ups, and I was able to run a mile without dying. And those little accomplishments helped me feel better about myself. They helped me feel like I could do something by myself and for myself. And when you're depressed, you need those little things to help you get through life. Those little things turn into big changes. And not only changes like working out more. The third point is that they help you make healthier changes. Sometimes when you're depressed, you have poor nutrition, you don't feel good enough to cook, you're too tired, you're exhausted, nothing sounds good, so you grab a pack of ramen, right? Those are all carbs, sodium, nothing that's going to help you feel better inside. When you're working out, you start feeling like you can accomplish more. You start making the choice between ramen and maybe you pick up some vegetables, maybe some low fat, high protein items like chicken or fish. You start feeling good because you're making good choices for yourself. And so I was looking at different articles and I was fascinated. I looked at WebMD's article. It's called Exercise and Depression: How Physical Exercise Can Help. And what they said was mind blowing. When you make a healthy change in your life, such as regular exercise, you may find that you want to improve other habits too, such as quitting smoking. They did a study, and that study found that after 15 weeks of exercise, young adults not only chose more nutritious food, such as lean meats and fruits and vegetables, but they made better habits, such as quitting smoking, and they were just better all around. As you can see on this picture here, regular exercise can reduce symptoms of anxiety and depression in adults by up to 20%. With just 30 minutes of exercise, all of their stress started going lower and lower in the 17 years that the study was performed, but their stress level, their perceived mood started climbing and climbing and climbing. Why would you deny yourself that? You don't have to. Just go out. Try to go for a walk if you ever feel depressed. When you don't feel like there's any other answers, maybe this will be the better answer for you. Maybe those endorphins that are being released from the exercise will help you start a better day. Maybe you'll get a coffee because you feel like you can treat yourself because you did something good for yourself. And maybe the exercise does help you stay fit. Maybe the commitment you made to exercise helps you make better commitments to other things that you kind of stopped. Maybe you start taking better care of yourself. Self-care is a big thing that falls when you're depressed. Maybe you start making better relationships with people. Maybe you talk to people more. Maybe you meet friends. And finally, when you start exercising, I hope that you'll make those better choices. I hope that you stop vaping and drinking, and I hope that maybe you'll grab some all-natural carrot chips instead of potato chips. With one little step, you can start feeling better. And I think everybody can benefit from exercise, even if you're not depressed. So I want you to get up off of your couch and go for a walk. Go for a run. Just try to do something active for at least 30 minutes and tell me how you feel after. Thank you so much for listening to my speech. Thank you.